So in 2015, the governor elected to my client's ex-wife. Okay, that's fine. He's owned up to that. We're all kind of human. The relationship continued. There was a lot of interaction. My client did not put a gun to his wife's head to have her confess in 2015. My client's testimony in this case, and the sole testimony in this case, is to lay the foundation, the evidentiary foundation, for the recording. My client wasn't there when bodily fluids were swapped. My client was not party to, privy to, or aware of what was going on. You know, the way the governor's council address this, you'd almost think they want my client to stand on the highest mount and assert, you know, gosh, I'm really sorry I made the governor have sex with my wife. Well, that's not going to happen. Now, what I want everybody to know, because we're now here, we're on this. In 2015, March of 2015, my client was devastated with the news that his relationship with his wife had been compromised by virtue of the actions of an individual. He was crestfallen. He felt every emotion in the world. His ego was shattered. The woman with whom he had a family it was overnight, his world was turned upside down. He had every emotion in the world. That's fine. What did he do with that tape? Through one reconciliation attempt, a second reconciliation attempt, the governor kept infusing himself into the lives of my client and his former wife. They ended up getting divorced. In 2015, the divorce was filed. It was final in 2016. My client did not utilize those tape recordings or those electronic recordings in the divorce. Nothing used. Never referenced. Never brought up in discovery. Never disclosed. Nothing. My client knew the marriage was over. My client knew he was going to be co-parenting with this woman. He knew that he still cared deeply for her. He tried. My client had to endure advertising for the governor in his campaign. He had to endure news releases. He had to endure every single press conference, every campaign piece of literature, day in, day out. He never used those recordings. My client was contacted by a political operative in 2016, just prior to the election, who had the story spot on. All he wanted was confirmation. Give me the tapes. My client did not give them out. My client did not release them. My client wanted to keep this story suppressed forever. It didn't happen. It didn't come out. The governor got elected. My client had to endure that. My client was fearful. This is a guy who's using a submachine, a fully automatic machine gun in advertisements showing up day in, day out. Navy SEAL, tough guy. My client feared for his life. Right. So what ends up happening? My client has to hire an attorney. He has to pay his own money to have me suppress this story, not just with the political operative, but with call after call after call. Mostly irregular calls, right. Infrequent calls, not irregular, but infrequent. Sure. But in 2017, December, those calls started picking up steam. Not one or two a month, but one or two a day. And by January of 2018, it became clear this was not going away. The calls were incessant. They were from one media outlet after another, CNN, Washington Post, the Daily Mirror, for crying out loud. And those calls gave rise to a vetting which gave rise to the determination that this was a story that wasn't new. People have been working on this story for over a year, not just local media types, everybody. This was the worst kept secret in America. And when my client's minor child got contacted by a member of the media who asked enough inquiries to give rise to that child having to ask his dad what happened, my client, who tried in vain to suppress this story at his own expense, at all costs, was forced with having to choose between the bad of disclosure or the really bad of having his kids be vulnerable, his minor children. That's when the one last straw broke the camel's back. That's when we were given the directive to get this story out.